Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be doing one of our best breakdowns ever. It's going to be on Usain Bolt's 958 world record. And the reason I say it's going to be one of our best breakdowns is there's just so much information out there about, what he actually is able to achieve within that 958 and being able to really get a good understanding from a breakdown perspective of, what are some of his top speeds, what's his transition on contact time. There's just been a lot of great information within this video, and I'm really looking forward to doing it. As always, if you like the information on the video, go ahead and like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. And if you have any recommendations for some videos, go ahead and leave that in the comments below, or just let us know how you like the video overall. All right, so one of the best things about this accomplishment is the fact that Usain Bolt was able to run 27.8 miles an hour when actually doing this, or 44 kilometers per hour, right? And so that is just an absolutely amazing feat overall. And it's said that it was done sometimes between 60 to 80 meters. Looking down and really breaking down from a 10-meter perspective, we were able to see that, as fast as 10-meter split was between 60 to 70 meters. So it's probably happened somewhere in there. Within that time period, he ran a 0.81 in terms of, how long it took him to cover that 10 meters, the fastest out of all the other 10-meter blocks. And, the big thing that really stands out when it comes to, really breaking down that part of his actual run is, he just has such an amazing, consistent contact time, right? So if we're looking at the bottom of the screen and when his, his foot's touching the ground, 94.66, and then he's back off, somewhere, definitely before then. Typically what we were able to see is that he had on the right side, a pretty consistent 0.08 foot contact time, the time spent on the ground. And then on the left side, he had a 0.09 foot contact time. So, two things that stand out about that is one, the average is about 0.1. And when you go and break down all the top sprinters, maybe a little bit below 0.1, but the fact that, he's as big as he is and still was able to maintain such a great overall foot contact time is just absolutely amazing. And one of the cool things, I was reading up about it earlier, a lot of times when we talk about when the force generation is happening, when we're going through a sprint, it's within that first 200ths of when your foot's touching the ground, right? And so when your foot's touching the ground, that's really when you want to be creating the force, right? So now after here, he's just really redistributing the force, but where most of it's generated as your foot's landing on the ground and absorbing the foot and the body weight. So, it goes from being basically airborne, right? So, no feet on the ground, to then having to absorb, right? And when he's absorbing, that's when all your force is created. It's the first 0.02 seconds from when your foot's touching the ground is when primarily all that force is being generated. So him being able to do that very, very quickly and then still rebound off of that is what makes him so fast, and also what makes him so overall unique as a person, because there's nobody else that's his height that's able to maintain that contact time over such a long period of time, at least nobody that we've been able to see within the track circuit. And really what stands out even more so than the contact time, which is obviously something that's amazing, is his transition time, right? The time spent off of the ground. So, and a lot of times I feel like this can end up being more important for you guys to be able to understand, because there's so much variety between all the different sprinters. So, going into Tyson Gay and what his transition time is, it's closer to, let me go and look into it real quick. It's like right around 0.3 seconds is Tyson Gay's, right? So his time spent off the ground is very, very quick, but his contact time is closer to 0.1, maybe a little bit more like 0.11. So he has a little bit longer contact time, but very, very fast overall turnover, where Usain Bolt, very fast with his contact time. We went over that 0.08 on the right, 0.09 on the left, but his transition time, the time spent off of the ground, is 0.38, and then closer to 0.37 on the left side, right? And so what that just shows is that when you're able to really master that contact time, spend a little bit less time on the ground, you have the ability to spend a little bit more time off the ground with the feet. And then when you spend a little bit more time on the ground, it makes it so that transition time is a little bit, shorter. So, because we also saw it with Tyson Gay as well. And that, again, one of the things too that stands out to me with Usain Bolt is he's just so symmetrical, right? We see a lot of guys that will have, one foot being maybe 0.08 and the other foot being 0.11, or, transition time being 0.38 on one side and 0.35 on the other side. So we see these types of things, but he's very, very unique because he's very symmetrical from one side compared to the other side, which I think is one of the reasons why he's able to so consistently be great for a long period of time, is because he has just a natural symmetry within his body, or he works that symmetry within his body. Very aware of how all of his joints are being utilized, all of his muscles are being utilized, and that's what makes him one of the best sprinters of all time, if not the best sprinter of all time. Another big thing that stood out to me is that he took 41 steps altogether. So when you look at it from the front view, we could see that he takes 41 steps, and it's basically right on 41. He takes a step on the actual line on that 41st step. I love to see his acceleration on the block, so it kind of comes across with those legs, right? He's very, very quick when he's hitting the ground. Notice when he gets to his top speed how, his toes are basically facing straight ahead the whole time. Then at the very end, there's a little bit of a turn, but he just spends no time on the ground, right? We see a little bit of a pronation there, a little bit of the foot turning in, but then immediately pushes right back off. Right, and that happens on both foot. Left foot, you can see it's a little bit more pronounced of pronation. Heel comes in a little bit more, but he's able to still maintain a lot of stability and get right back off those feet. This is in super, super slow motion that we're looking at this right now, which makes it so, we can see a little bit more of the pronouncement there. But overall, he's just barely spending any time on the ground and generating. Again, most of the force you're generating is when you're first touching the ground. So just being able to really understand that when your foot's cycling through and he's able to get that foot out in front of him, that's when, and then pull that leg back, that's when he's generating all the force that makes it so he's able to maintain such a great overall transition time. What is unique is it looks like he's flying, right? It looks like he's floating. It looks like he's not even touching the ground here, and how his body's moving, right? And he's so upright and straight, and he generates so much force that here, for the average person, you think that he should be going downwards, right? How is gravity not having an impact on him to make it so his body goes down? Well, he just generates so much upward force here, and then is able to cycle those legs back and through, so he's able to land with his leg basically straight back and, really not lose any height, right? And then he goes and he does that again, just generates that force right back up off the ground, gets the legs all nice and straight, and then is able to then cycle that leg back and through so he doesn't lose any height on any of those steps, even though his transition time is so long, 0.37, 0.38, depending on the side. See how straight he gets that leg out in front of him and how great of a pull he gets behind him. I talk a lot about Noah Lyles and how great his backside mechanics are. I would say, Usain Bolt, does get great extension on the right side, not as great of consistent extension on the left side with the backside mechanics. So I'd say, can maybe make improvements in the backside mechanics. Hard to say that the greatest ever can make improvements. See how he landed right at that on 41. From a front side mechanic perspective, I would say best ever, right? Nobody matches with his front side mechanics and how well he's able to pull and almost land with his foot right underneath his hip, right? Everybody talks about it's possible to actually land with your foot underneath his hip, but he's somebody that comes so close, even though he's 6'5". And that's just because he does such a unique job of being able to create that vertical force, vertical press off, right? He's one of the best with his contact time, one of the best with his foot on the ground, being able to maximize force with the foot on the ground, and then one of the best at being able to transition those legs all the way up and through in his overall style. And that's the big thing too, is Noah Lyles is great from a backside mechanics. I love his backside mechanics, they're beautiful, but that's unique to him. He has certain things within his body that he's got to be kinesthetically aware of to be able to run at the highest speeds that he possibly can, and being able to maximize his running mechanics goes into maximizing his backside mechanics, where Usain Bolt did a great job of being able to optimize his body mechanics, and him being unique to being 6'5", there's going to be difference with him to Noah Lyles to Tyson Gay, and everybody's going to have their own unique style. So you have to be able to understand you and what's going to make you the best version of yourself that you can. And Usain Bolt is just the epitome of somebody that was able to do that, because he had things like the scoliosis that could have impacted his whole career, right? He had a spine that was a little bit out of place, and he worked on that to be able to correct it and make it so it didn't end up ruining his career, which is why he ended up being the best ever in terms of sprinting, is because he was able to work through some of the things that could have had a negative impact on him, and made it so he wasn't able to accomplish the things that he was able to accomplish. So again, you just got to be able to understand you and what you can do, what's unique about your running style that you can really utilize to your benefit. And what are some of the things that maybe are your weaknesses that you really got to focus on in improving to make it so it doesn't end up being your downfall. As always, guys, thanks for watching these videos. I hope you got as much out of it as I did, in being able to really go deep into these numbers. I thought it was amazing to be able to see all this stuff, and I wanted to be able to show it all to you. If you guys have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them for you. You can reach out in the comments down below, or always reach out to me personally. We have a bunch of different program offers that we have down below. We have a 3-month program. We have a few different free things that you can check out. It's free ebook, a 7-day free trial, different things to help you guys get started in helping develop your speed. We really want to be the best resource for you guys in terms of speed development. That's why we're consistently putting out these new videos for you to really connect to these sprinters and understand what makes them the people that they are, and somebody that we can continue to look up to and learn from to help in our own individual sprinting. All right, thanks for watching the video, and we'll talk to you soon.